Hey guys, welcome to Blaugrana United. Welcome to another video, and the Champions League draw for the quarterfinals and semifinals has been completed, and Barcelona have drawn Manchester United for the quarterfinals of the Champions League. It's been a very interesting couple of hours. I've had the luxury of seeing a lot of opinions on what do they think about Manchester United, about Barcelona, about the other draws. It's been very interesting to see every opinion. Some say it's going to be an easy draw, some say it's going to be an easy tie to play, some say it's going to be really hard, but I'm going to give my opinion following up with the video. Manchester United have drawn Barcelona, and they're going to play against each other after that fantastic Champions League final that they played against each other, where Lionel Messi scored a header in the final. Yes, a header. Someone said that Messi could only shoot with one foot and couldn't score any headers. Well, Pele, you clearly weren't watching that Champions League final, were you? I don't think so. Alright. The other draws have been Manchester City are going to play Tottenham Hotspur in the first bracket, and in the second part of the bracket is going to be Ajax versus Juventus. In our bracket, following Manchester United versus Barcelona, is going to be Liverpool versus Porto. I envy Liverpool so much because they got Porto. If we didn't get Porto, I wanted Ajax to get Porto, to be honest, because it would at least guarantee that there's another bye for a team to play next game, but I guess not. So, well, at this point, I think that I wasn't really expecting to get an easy draw. Manchester United are gonna be a really tough team to beat because they have some fantastic players. They've clearly shown that they can do good things if they want to, because let's be honest, they weren't playing to their max ability because they wanted Mourinho to be sacked. So they did the same thing that the Leicester players did to Ranieri when he was sacked. They did the same thing that Barcelona players did when Luis Enrique was here to get him sacked, and so on and so on. It's not a thing of Barcelona, it's not a thing of Manchester United, it's a thing of every club in the world. When players feel that their managers are annoying them way too much, they start acting out and they start not performing. And if you want a better example, just look at the example this season is Chelsea. What they've been doing to Manchester Sarri has been an absolute disgrace. But let's talk about the Champions League. So what do I think about the tie versus Manchester United? First of all, I am so grateful that Manchester decided to not be able to host a same game in Manchester for the Champions League for the two clubs in the same day, which means that we are able to play the home leg for the second leg. The home game for the second leg, which gives us an advantage, which it would lead me to believe that we just need to play really solid in the first leg, try to get that most important away goal, try to be not defensive, try to be very solid, compete well, and for the home leg we can go full steam and try to roll over Manchester United. That's how a team that plays in our style should be trying to play this competition. If you're not the best Barcelona ever, which we're not, we are a Barcelona that's in very shaky form, to say the least. I didn't want to draw Liverpool, Juventus, or Manchester City. In my opinion, if we drew any of those teams, it was going to be a big issue. I didn't have any confidence in it beating any of those teams. But we've got Manchester United, and under Solskjaer, they've shown that they can be pretty solid defensively, sorta, because I think they still have the Mourinho training instated on him. And if you want to believe it or not, Mourinho is a great defensive coach. He knows how to coach proper defense. If the players don't want to defend, that's another story, but they know how to properly defend. At least for the time that Mourinho was here, he instilled that defensive mentality in them, and they know how to defend. And they have fantastic They have a fantastic abilities to counter and go score a lot of goals, as seen with Lukaku, Rashford, Martial. I think we need to stop Paul Pogba in midfield, and that's why I think that we need Arthur, especially on his game, because we need to prevent losing the ball at any cost during the match. We need Arthur to keep the ball away from Pogba as much as possible, because in the Premier League, considering that Paul Pogba's season really started in January, he has 14 goals and 11 assists in the Premier League, I believe. Those are some outrageous... Oh no, it's not in the Premier League, it's overall. It's still 25 goal contributions for a season for a centre midfielder. That is unreal. That is so good from Paul Pogba. And we all knew his claws. I wouldn't mind in Barcelona. There's a few players from Manchester United that I wouldn't mind having in Barcelona. Paul Pogba being one of them. The other player who he has a great connection with, it's Marcus Rashford. We've seen those filtered through passes for him, which have been absolutely fantastic to watch. Anthony Martial, another player that I want for Barcelona, he's absolutely phenomenal, and I believe that amount of pace could hurt us if we're not careful. Now, talking about what we can do and what we should do, I'm going to talk more about it more in depth in the upcoming videos, but I just believe we need to play our game. We need to try to keep a lot of possession. I believe more than going for the attack, we need to keep a lot of possession, especially not having Dembele is not going to be that helpful for us for the first leg. So I don't believe Dembele will be back for the first leg. At least he's not be 100%, and I believe that he shouldn't play if he's not going to be at 100%. So we should keep him as far away from the pitch as possible if he's not ready. I don't want him to get another month out because we didn't save him properly, because we didn't take care of him properly. We need to keep the ball away. We need to try to get that all-important away goal. We should be able to. We have enough tools to be able to cause that Manchester United defense damage, because although they're, as a team, they're solid defensively, their individual defenders are horrible especially that right hand side. The left hand side is alright, but the right hand side is pretty dodgy. We saw Eric Bailly, Phil Jones, Chris Smalling. They're not the most reliable center backs, and Dalot and Young are. Dalot is too young. He doesn't have enough experience, enough minutes, and Ashley Young is too old. I think that Jordi Alba is gonna roast him in that side. We should make the most of Jordi Alba in that side. We don't have Ousmane Dembele. And okay, talking about the other ties, I'm gonna shortly talk about Liverpool versus Porto, because that's gonna be a very easy match. I think that if Liverpool are on their day, even that they don't have the home tie in the second leg, I don't think it's gonna make it matter. I think at home they could easily thrash in 5-0 like they did last season in the Champions League, and I believe Liverpool would have a field day with Porto. I think they're gonna rip through shirts. Mane's in form. Salah, I believe he will. Even if he's not been in great form lately, he's still a fantastic player, and his work off the ball is still really good. Firmino is still really good. Van Dijk has been, for me, the best center back this season together with PK. So I think Liverpool are gonna steamroll through Porto, and if they lose the tie, it's because they lost the tie themselves. It's up to Liverpool who wins this tie. I don't think it's up to Porto. Now, talking about Ajax versus Juventus. I really want to talk about this in depth, but I don't think there's much to talk about. Ajax is just not gonna have any chance of beating Juventus, I think. I think the chances of Ajax beating Juventus is 5%. Because, let's be honest, I think Juventus and Liverpool are the teams that are left in the competition that are the most equipped to win this competition. In the terms that they have everything, especially with Ronaldo and Mandzukic. They're fantastic going aerially with crosses. They have good finishers down that can finish like in the area, like Ronaldo, Mandzukic, Dybala. They have good creative wingers like Bernardeschi, they have Paulo Dybala, they have fantastic fullbacks like Alexandro, like Joao Cancelo. That's going to be really important. I believe that it's just going to be far too much for Ajax to try to dominate Juventus. Juventus is going to be fine sitting back and countering, and that's going to hurt Ajax a lot. So again, my only hope for Ajax to beat Juventus is if they're able to do what we need to do against Manchester United, which basically is keep the ball away from them as much as possible. Try to have a lot of possession so they cannot hurt you, or they can hurt you the least possible. And like in the Madrid game in the second leg, just have a lot of luck. Just put everything that you have in. Every single chance needs to go in for you to go to the tie. It has to be a perfect tie to beat Juventus. Juventus are not going to be like Madrid, which are going to forgive you if you make any mistakes. They're going to punish you and they're going to obliterate you. And I believe that's why the difference is with Ajax versus Juventus in comparison to an Ajax versus Madrid. Juventus are going to be lethal and they're going to punish you all the way through. I think Cristiano Ronaldo, even though it's been put as the greatest player of all time, I don't agree with that statement, but he's still a fantastic player. He's a player that is in comparison with the likes of Luis Suarez, with the Neymars of the world, Hazard. All those elite players are up there, and he's still one of the greatest of all time. His work ethic is fantastic at 34, and I think that he's gonna have a field day if he manages to get those crosses delivered to him again in the box, because he's just a physical specimen that's gonna absolutely blitz Ajax together with that Juventus side, which is absolutely a world-class team. And now Manchester City versus Tottenham Hotspur. This is gonna be interesting. They have the advantage of playing the home tie in the second leg, and I think it's gonna be an advantage somehow. But the problem is that they need to be careful, because I think all those 4 Premier League teams are gonna have problems playing these games, especially because they have to focus in the Premier League. Manchester City and Liverpool have to focus because they're battling for the title, and Tottenham, because they've dropped out somehow lately, they have shortened the distance between Arsenal, Chelsea and United between them, and now they're all battling for top 4. And to be honest, if Tottenham cannot win the Champions League, they need to get a top 4. Tottenham paying that stadium, they need to get that Champions League money. They need to get into the Champions League next season. So I believe if they don't win the first leg comfortably, or if they don't go in well for the next game result, I believe Tottenham are going to drop out of the Champions League, and they're not going to be able to continue on. The same thing goes for Manchester City. If Guardiola sees that it is a problem trying to go for the Champions League while battling Liverpool for the Premier League, it's going to be a problem. That's why I think Liverpool are going to be real big favorites for this tie, because Liverpool, they can trash Porto in the first game and then just focus in the Premier League. So I think Manchester City are a big disadvantage in comparison to Liverpool for the league title. Manchester United are also a problem because they have to battle Arsenal and Chelsea and Spurs for the top 4. There's 2 spots left for the top 4. I mean, assuming that nothing weird happens between City and Liverpool, there should be nothing short of those 4 teams trying to battle for top 4. Manchester United, I think, have a big chance of making top 4 if they put all the effort in. But at the same time, we just saw them collapse against Arsenal. They're not the most consistent team still. They're a team that is playing because they're playing to the best of their ability, but they don't have a tactician. I don't think Solskjaer is a great tactician, as much as I don't think Zidane is a great tactician. He's just a great motivator and just gets the best out of the players with their like physical and tactical abilities, but he himself doesn't have any great tactics. All that being said, I believe Mauricio Pochettino is gonna have a interesting tie. He can definitely beat Manchester City because they know each other so well. So he's beaten Guardiola before, so that should somehow help him. It's been said, I think, that Tottenham might be able to play in the new White Hart Lane for the first leg. that's I don't know if that's gonna happen. I don't know if that's gonna be allowed, but Manchester City should be wary of Tottenham Hotspur. What is my predictions for the Champions League so far? I'm gonna give my quick predictions for the whole thing. I think Tottenham Hotspur are gonna surprise Manchester City because Guardiola, I don't think it's not gonna give away the league title versus Liverpool for the Champions League, where he still has to battle a probably Juventus and then a probably Liverpool or Barcelona in the final. For that reason, I think I'm gonna barely edge. Like, I'm gonna give it 51% to 49 to Tottenham to go through for the semifinals of the Champions League. And then I'm going to give Juventus to go past Ajax in the Champions League by, I said 95%. I think that's going to be happening. So Spurs and Juventus in the first semi-final, and in the second semi-final, because we have the advantage for the stadiums, and because Manchester United have to make big effort to make top 4, and we are pretty well set in the league. I think Barcelona, with the team that we have, we should be able to go through eventually. If nothing weird happens, if we don't down tools again, we should be going through to the next leg, to the semifinals. And I believe Liverpool will be our opponent for the next leg, because it's gonna be really easy for them to beat Porto. If they don't, they would have down tools massively. I mean, something really weird should be happening if they don't go through to Porto. But yeah, finding the Liverpool in the semi-finals is not gonna be an easy thing. I think it's gonna be very difficult. We could see a very big surprise. We could get obliterated by Liverpool, to be honest, because countering, I think they're the best countering team in world football at this moment, and they could hurt us a lot. And yeah, I think that once we touch the semi-final, and if we have everyone fit, and Ousmane Dembele is firing, Luis Suarez is fit enough to be firing, and we can have a good lead on Messi, we could beat Liverpool and we could reach the Champions League final. And I believe it would be a Champions League final of Barcelona versus Juventus. And now I'm saying it's going to be a final of Barcelona and Juventus. Barcelona don't inspire me any confidence though, because I believe Liverpool in a knockout tie are much better than Barcelona, but like I've said, they have to be battling for the Premier League. So I think at one point, Jurgen Klopp is going to prioritize the league over the Champions League, and that's why I believe that we might be able to go through and beat Liverpool in the Champions League. So I think it's going to be a Juventus tie, because like I said, Spurs, I think they're going to have to focus at one point in the Champions League. I think Mauricio Pochettino and Allegri are going to have a tactical battle like they had last season. I think Allegri outdid him in the second leg tactically. Like, it was a masterclass from Allegri bringing two fullbacks to change the game last season, and I think that it will be close. I think this will be a lot closer than if it was against Manchester City, but I think just because they have more tools, they have a bigger squad, I think Juventus have because they have wrapped up the league already, I think they will reach the Champions League final. And against Barcelona and Juventus, my heart says Barcelona, my head says 50-50. It's very dodgy. Just because I'm a Barcelona fan, I'm going to say Barcelona are going to win the Champions League this season. And in theory, if we don't down tools in the league, and if we have a good match against Valencia, we should be winning the treble this season. Now, saying that, I will talk about what I think about Ernesto Valverde in an upcoming video, but I don't think that a treble should cover all the mistakes that we've made this season, and that Ernesto Valverde, if we can bring in a better manager, we should consider it, because I don't think winning one season is good enough if we're gonna then lose the next 10 seasons. If we're gonna be trash for the next 10 seasons, I don't want to win a treble. I'd rather us be good competitively and win a title every season than being blank for 10 seasons in a row and winning a treble one season, So that's what I think. I want to play good football. I hope that they show the best that they have right now, because they haven't been playing at their best. So I hope they show their best. Leave me your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you thought about the draw. Leave me your predictions of who you think is going to win the Champions League. And I'll see you on the next one, Blaugranas.